Another
Okay.
5-10
Okay.
minutes.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Welcome all the attendees.
Good morning.
The speaker. Okay, so continuing the saga of Fashion Symposium from Vogue, today we have an eminent speaker with us. Now, before I pass on the screen to her, I must tell something about her. So she is a fashion stylist, entrepreneur, and jewelry designer also. Daughter of a defense fighter pilot and multi-talented mother, and grown up in God-forsaken towns across the country, riding Royal Enfield at the age of 15. She has since then been driven by the need of exploring India. After completing MBA, she worked in market research in Mumbai and then moved to Bangalore, which became her home ever since. She started Levitate as a hole-in-the-wall small shop in the back portion of a restaurant. The idea was simply to fill in the blanks of cheap Chinese products and expensive designer wear. She traveled all over the world to find eclectic handmade Indian crafts, accessories, tribal jewelry, and upcycled vintage apparels. These are just intercepts of her profile, otherwise it's really huge. Paying attention to every smallest detail, which others refuse to notice, Levitate offers today a heady mix of Indian age-old traditions and new age funky design elements. And so here we have the creator of it all, Miss Meghna. I welcome you, Meghna, today.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Vijay Kumar, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so she'll be talking about Bangalore Retail and Innovation in the retail here. And in the panel, we also have Miss Maria, our very own Miss Maria, and she needs no introduction. She'll be joining us soon. So attendees, but if you have any questions, please type in the question answer box and we'll take up the questions at the later end of the session. So Meghna, all to you now.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And very good morning to everybody here. So Shweta has said a lot about my journey here. So I am just, I'm just going to be sharing my story. It's not, I wouldn't say I'm part of the industry, because ours, what we've done is a very niche market and a very niche space that we have carved out for ourselves in Bangalore over the last almost 18 years. So I'm just going to take you through that journey. This is my first webinar ever, so please be kind if there are any glitches, and do let me know your thoughts and pop up if you have any questions. I'm just going to take you through through this. So yeah, let me start. So Levitate. I'll just start you with my journey. This is the journey of my life, where I will share with you what all I've been through. So I've been an Air Force kid. I've grown up in, like Shweta said, I've grown up in the smallest towns across the country. And these were like almost village-like, some names you cannot pronounce. The experience has always been fantastic in just the smallest towns, and the coming from this kind of, my parents came from a mixed marriage. My mother is Bengali. My father was a Punjabi. He was a South Indian Punjabi, and my mother is a Bengali from North India. So the amalgamation, and all our neighbors were from different walks of life. As you can imagine, this word 4G also gives a lot of, intake into that. We've had like Sardars married to Malayalis, and, from people from Sikkim married to Gujaratis. It's been like such a beautiful amalgamation of people and cultures. So I'm very blessed to have that as my upbringing. I moved from, my last few years of schooling was in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. And from there, I moved to Pune. And it was the first time I had the big city lights almost. I had joined college there and it was very fancy. I joined Wadia College of Commerce, and I was just this small town kid, as I think maybe some of you are as well, and you could relate to this. And I really didn't fit into this college in that sense that there were these very rich kids who would come in their parents' cars. They had one mobile in one hand, pager in the other. And then there were really like the not so well-to-do children who would walk across the college, the railway tracks, travel in the local trains from far away and come to college and be really conscientious about it. And I kind of didn't fit into either lot. I didn't speak Marathi. And slowly I carved out a small group of people who were all outsiders, and we became friends. And then it became like, then moved on to make many friends and carry on with with college, visiting people from different colleges and, you know, interacting like that. Post my graduation, I did my MBA, and that was another 2 years. And I moved to Symbiosis, which was the other side of town. Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies, another 2 years for my post-graduation. And thereafter, I joined like what I call a fancy corporate job. It was my first job, and it happened to be in Bombay. And it was a real reality check that not only did you have to get up and go to work every morning and be on time and be serious about it, but it was also in Bombay. So just all in all, it was a very crazy time. Like I really wanted to come to Bangalore. Even at that time after Pune, I was like, I'd heard that Bangalore was the, you know, the older brother of Pune, because when you're a student, you study in Pune and then you come to Bangalore and you're like, it's a lot of older people who still don't know what they want to be when they grow up. That's what I'd heard about Bangalore. And I was like, I'll go there. And suddenly I hear that the job profile that I had been looking for, which was in research, and I wanted qualitative market research. In my interview, I still remember they kept asking me, will you do numbers? And I was like, no, I'll do people. And will you do numbers? And I was like, no, people. I want to do experiences. I want to talk about people. And this is what I want. And it was all about what I wanted in this interview. I didn't know anything about my academics, really. I'd had a great time for 2 years. It's a secret. I was an outstanding student. So, but my job took me to Bombay. And that was a great eye-opener, because you realize that your learning truly starts when somebody starts paying you money to show up and be there and contribute and make it worthwhile. So I had a great learning experience, but I had decided that this is not my scene. This corporate job is not my scene. Even though my learning was excellent, I had a great team, I had a great woman boss, everything was amazing. But I was just like, I'm going to move out of Bombay. I can't do Bombay. So I joined on the 4th of July in 2001, and I quit on the 5th of July, 2002. I gave it 1 year because that's what I promised myself. And then I said, I'm not going to do this further. So imagine like you are now doing your, you are doing your design, and then you tell your parents that you're going to quit your job and probably like start off an NGO feeding some stray dogs on the street. Just imagine that. Okay. So that was pretty much what I had gone through, what I went through at that time when I told my family and friends that I was quitting my job. And everybody's like, are you crazy? How can you do that? You have a good paying job, you have a steady job. People don't have jobs, and how can you walk away and everything? So I had to explain myself, and I was really like, I can do it. If I have to get another job, I know I'm confident enough that I can get another job. But I don't want this. I don't want to live in the city where I'm always rushing and I'm always running to catch up with something which I don't even know what it is. So I had to do a lot of convincing to be able to quit my job. And moving on, I traveled a lot, and I finally came to Bangalore. And I came to Bangalore and I started riding motorcycles. And at the end of that year, 2002, I had started my store called Levitate. And how did that happen? Really, in 6 months' time, I had quit my job. I had moved cities. I had changed completely my career path, and I had decided to take this up. I just dived into it. I didn't know if I was going to make it out. I didn't know if my business was going to survive or it was going to like dive. I had no clue. But at the same time, I had nothing to lose. So that's why I started Levitate. I was 23 at the time, by the way, everybody. I just want to let you know, just a little older than you guys. So I'll just tell you, this is what we're going to be going through. How we started Levitate, the inception of Levitate, the power of word of mouth, personal style statement, and a message for this is how we're going to be rolling. So a lot of you might think of, why Levitate? I quit a good, like, well-paying job, MBA, all of that corporate scene. And I decided to quit everything and start a small store. And it was almost like a hole in the wall, like really like a little small space. When I started off, it was in the storage room beyond the hand wash area of a restaurant. And it was really like, there was no signage. Anyway, the reason that we started Levitate, let me just go with the flow in that now I have a presentation here. But the reason that we started Levitate was to fill in the gap. There was nothing in the market in Bangalore that had Indian craft. A lot of it was very high-end designer wear, and the other was the Chinese products on the street. Like if you walk on Commercial Street or Brigade Road, and you know what I'm talking about, 100 rupee product, and there was no space. There was no space that sold Indian made funky. I mean, I don't mean like that same thing that you've been seeing in exhibitions over the years. It had to be fun. It had to be funky, handmade product, whether it was jewelry or accessories. I had not seen that in India. I mean, in Bangalore, and I felt that there was a gap, and that's why. And we started Levitate. And in my store, you can see in the whole offering, there are products from across the country, from like Kashmir to Kanyakumari, like from north to west to east, everything. We try to do a little bit of representation, and you'll see more about Levitate. And the reason that we talk about a sustainable differential advantage, this was the only corporate term that I learned during my MBA. It was my marketing teacher at the time, the first class, and he walks in and he's like, "This, I'm going to be writing an acronym on the board. SDA." He's like, "I'm going to explain it to you today, and don't ask me again what it means." And that for me stayed in my mind. My MBA was equal to an SDA, which was a sustainable differential advantage. We'll talk more about that. So for for us, it's very important to really provide a fantastic product and a customer experience. When we interact, when customers come into our store, it's a lot of me doing my team that I've built over many, many years. And we make sure that our customer experience is amazing. So whether it is like, sometimes it's people who bring back their product, which is little damaged, it's from somewhere else. Can you fix this? Can you repair it? Can you attach this to my other piece? Can we even pierce people's nose? Like, because we are very known for our nose pins, and that's the smallest item in my shop. But people come to us for, can you pierce us? We trust you enough. We've done that for a long time. We trust you enough to pierce even our nose for us. So we go a long way for our customers. We really believe that, I believe that 10% extra gives us like a 50% in return. Just providing a 10% extra, just a little bit more, gives you a great feedback and a great, customer relationship. So this, I just want to show you, this is before the Instagram and Facebook and, all the social media. This was how we got a lot of our publicity. I want you to know that none of this was paid advertising. We had a product that was amazing and offering that experience that was pretty amazing. That each of these newspapers and magazines, from Cosmopolitan to the Economic Times, everybody covered the store and me. And why was that? It was because we had something different. And back in the day, in 2002 to now, we had something different. And it was just, we didn't even have, I didn't know these people. I was not connected. Like I said, I'm a Fauji kid. I had no experience in business. But what was done with passion and was done with heart. And I guess people saw that, and they saw that it was a totally different offering. So people came and spoke to us and also featured us in their magazines and newspapers across the board. It was a very interesting time. But now for you guys, it's much easier. You have a good product, you hashtag the hell out of it, and you can use Instagram, and you can reach out to your influencers and stuff like that. But this was way beyond before that time. And I just wanted to share that with you. This has been our journey over. This is just a small snippet of the various articles that have come out. It's been many. So yeah. So how did we do our marketing? So I just want to see if you can see this. 92% of people trust recommendations from friends and family over any other type of advertising. What is the requirement for any business, right? You want to reach more shoppers, you want to convert more transactions, and you want to add more value. This is the basic thing of any business, because at the end of it, you want to make money. I mean, that is the end product at some point. And This is the basic thing for any business, right? What we did was an organic word of mouth. Like I said, we had unpaid advertising. People came to us. I had a pull strategy. I never pushed anything. My girls were taught to never push this, say, take this, take this. This is amazing. No, ours was a pull strategy. This is how we do it. If you like it, you come to us. This is how we worked. And we had great brand loyalty and trust because we spoke the truth. If that was what we did. We were not upselling, not pushing. It was just, this is what we are. This is us being honest here. Do or create something different. How do you stand out? This is where the SDA that I learned, it has to be different. You have to be different. Either you can be the first, or you can be the best, or you can be different. These are the three things that I have learned over my time. The emotional provocation. So what does that mean? A lot of the times the customers that would come to us would have seen something on a mannequin or some, Bollywood star, Deepika Padukone was wearing this outfit and that's what they bought. And, unfortunately that doesn't work for your body type, doesn't work for your skin color or XYZ. And how do we kind of help you either fix that product, work with it, get jewelry for it, or actually just emotionally encourage you to find your own style, find your own personal brand style, So that was what we did a lot. Solving a real challenge. What happened was that I would meet, over the years, I've met so many people who had everything. They were rich, they had all the clothes in their cupboard, but they just were not happy, they were not confident. And for me, it became a real experience to actually bring that confidence in them, make them love themselves and accept where they were. So just to accept themselves, that gave them a real joy. Like I have met strangers in my shop who 5 minutes after meeting me have like hugged me and left the store. So it's been a real interesting way that you realize that, they have everything. They have everything. They have the best materials in the world, everything, all materialistic beauty, beautiful things. But they didn't have that confidence, which I feel like I helped them with. And that has been a very great learning for me as well. So I couldn't afford, I had no money to afford influencers. So I had to be my own influencer, When you talk about something that is close to your heart, after the 92% of people trusting family and friends, it's about 80% trusting an influencer that resonates with who you are, right? So over so many years, I have also, because I couldn't afford to find influencers for my brand, I ended up being my own brand influencer. So also to say no to customers. Sometimes we have also said no to a customer when we feel like sometimes people just want to buy things and not use it. I'm like, you're not allowed to keep it in your cupboard. You have to use my product. You have to use this jewelry. You have to wear this clothes. So if not that, being able to say no to them, don't buy this. Let's check out something else. Or you have enough of black and white. Can we explore a color? But being confident enough to say no to a customer, not just selling them anything that they want to sell, they want to buy. So that's where we are. All this is possible when you have an epic experience, which includes your service, your product, and your overall offering. For us, that has been very, very key, that we have a really, really cool and exciting product, very heartfelt, very, very passionate. And that has been the key product, that it's an epic experience first. All these things we can put on top of it, but to have the main thing is to have an epic product or an experience, and everything comes into that. Build a community, not a commodity. So my girls who work with me, when they started out, they were young. Today their daughters, their kids are going to college and school, and they're much older. They've been with me for so long. The community that we work with, all the women entrepreneurs, the support system, like we have today, we have a farm outside Bangalore. So we're just trying to see how we can incorporate the village that we are at to do something, to create some things that are old styles of work, and to bring it to the fore. So not so much for when I also say a product, I don't mean a product. I mean the entire offering of what what is available. So to build a community where people feel that they trust trust your judgment, they trust your style, and to bring them together and help them go forward. So that has been a very key aspect for me as well. And go above and beyond for the customer. I want customer delight. I'm not okay with customer satisfaction. There has to be delight. There has to be amazing excitement with what we offer. So I'll just tell you that the other day I had a customer who bought a nose ring, and she just gotten pierced, so it's a big piece, and she's worn that. And the next thing, it's come off, okay? And now it's COVID times, and they don't want to get out or anything, but she's like, how do I do this? And I'm like, I am ready to come over and help you put it back, put it back in, just because this is how much we will do for our customer. We have to go, customer delight is more important than just satisfaction for us. So I just want to show you this. Which artist comes to your mind when you're looking at this picture? He's an iconic artist.
Elvis Presley, I'm sure.
Elvis Presley, right? This is Elvis Presley style. So, a personal style statement. The way he wore his collar, his jumpsuit, it was so big. It was always this big collared. It's an iconic style. So this, for me, if you see here, this is pretty much my style. So if I was to say who wears a denim shirt, a sari draped like a dhoti, a really, mirror work belt, leather jutis, handmade jutis, who does this kind of a combination? It's not normal. It's not a normal way to dress. But yeah, this is my personal style mantra. And you'll see me a lot dressed like this, which is just a mix of various styles. And yeah, so when we talk about, there are 3 R's of personal branding and style. When you saw that photo, the image of Elvis Presley, we also talk about Usha Uthup, if you know the singer. She would wear this big bindi, and she would be in these Kanjipuram saris, and she could sing in some more than 15 or 20 Indian languages. But she made that iconic style of hers was that Kanjipuram sari with a big bindi, and that became, everybody recognized the Usha Uthup style. Everybody recognizes that. So there are 3 R's of personal branding and style, which I just want to share with you. It's being recognized, being remembered, and being revered. So as you know, the personal, how you look, what is personal branding and style? It's how you look visually, how you look personally, and how you communicate. What are the, so that is, so for this, I just wanted to tell you, there are different kinds of, we all know this, right? You've also been learning this, that there are different kinds of personal styling, whether you are dramatic, traditional, bohemian, creative, bold, you want to do bold statement, you want to do minimalist, however different styles you are, you could also be multiple, your client or yourself could be multiple of these at the same time. So when we talk about a style that you want to follow, like I tell this a lot to my clients as well, that if you want a style that you follow, please be authentic to yourself, because fashion changes, and your personal style has to be consistent. If you want to be recognized and remembered, you need to have a personal style statement that you can follow through with. So it has to be your authentic self. Don't try to emulate somebody else. Just because so-and-so is wearing it, I will also do it. That doesn't work. So just try to keep it very real and to yourself, so that you can, you can be that honest and authentic self to your own style. So it's a way, like even talking about like Lady Gaga, you all know Lady Gaga, and then you see that in her outfit choice, they're just outrageous. There is no consistency in that outfit choice, but the outrageous outfit is the consistency. So even in that, there has to be a consistency. So you have, if you want to be remembered, if you want to be recognized and revered, go with that style. So just, and keep it authentic to yourself. Don't copy somebody else, because you're not going to be able to pull it off for long. I just want to show you, these are my friends, these are my clients who I have styled over the years, and also some of it is myself. And I just want to show you that we have different styles. These are not models, these are just real people. So if in the first photograph, this is like a Maharashtrian style sari that we do a lot of draping, which leaves me comfortable enough to even get on my motorcycle and ride if I have to in the first one. And the second photo is like with a pair of like, these are boot sandals, what we also do. So nobody really would wear a pair of boots with a sari, right? It's like, it doesn't kind of go together. You'd be like heels or, something Indian, but this is how we roll. The third image is very casual. It's also like stylized denim, denim on denim. So different people with different requirements, like as such. The gray one is a very minimalist approach to fashion. It's like, I don't want any jewelry. So it's just that one very bold statement in that way, but it's minimalist. One pair of earrings, that's where it ends. The middle photo of my friend wearing two different kinds of necklaces, a rainbow colored sari and a black top. So very extreme look of two same people, even the one in white, just wearing a nice necklace, keeping it simple, keeping it clean, different kinds of looks. This is one person, this different styling for one person. So as you can see, like one is like a feminine, one is a bold statement, and one is a casual bohemian, look. So there are just three different looks on the same person. And these are all real people. These are just people that we have worked with over the years. So the one on the left, the one in the black, the jeans, and is a corporate woman. She's a very strong leader. And she came to us and she's like, I want to redo my style to do something interesting. So whether we do handcrafted, embroidered, vintage piece on her, and then also like a floral feminine kurta. So we're just exploring different things. On the right, I just want to show you how like the monochrome look kind of goes ahead, like in that, whether it's a sari or it's, shirt and top, it doesn't matter. So this is something that, I'm sure the previous ones you were also learning a lot of, and this is just what I have experienced and I'm just sharing that with you. But these are two things when I feel that that are more very important to me as well. And I wanted to share that with you. Confidence isn't thinking that you're better than anyone else. It's realizing that you have no reason to compare yourself to anyone else. The biggest competitiveness has been with myself. So I think that's key. Be competitive with yourself, learn from other people, but just make sure that you have a good product, you have a good service, but try and be different from other people, because being different is better than better. You being different will give you an entirely different field to play in instead of comparing with somebody else. So being different is better than better is my mantra too. Success happens when where you are and where you want to be are aligned. It doesn't mean that you are already there, but you have to be on a path that is leading you somewhere. So that is again very important to me. I just want to share that when I decided to quit my job, right, and now I was telling you about all the back and forth that was going on with my family and friends and all of that. I was listening to an audio by some lady guru, and she was just talking about stories, and we were driving somewhere, and at one point she just what really like flipped me for making that decision to quit, because I was in two minds and I didn't know whether I should or not. And she said that, what if imagine this, you're walking in a forest, you're walking in a jungle, and you have walked for days. You're trying to reach somewhere and you have a certain goal in mind. And at the end of like 2-3 days, you walked and all, and then you realize that you are walking in the wrong direction. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to walk in that direction because now you're already on the path, you may as well continue? Or are you going to turn around and walk back and go to your new direction? So that is, everybody has a different answer to that, I'm sure. But for me, it was definitely turn around and start walking, because this is not where I want to be. I can research, I can corporate leader, but is it what I want to do? No. So I will turn around and I will start walking back. So you have to be on a path, on a journey, at least to see where you want to be is aligned to who you are, and where you are at present should be aligned to where you want to be. That's what this is about. So,
like, can you hear me?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yes, Maria.
When I see, I think that it's great, like great motivation for the youngsters. See, there is what I witness in the Indian culture, especially girls, about their outlook and everything. They are afraid to be judged by the others.
Of course.
Because see, you could overcome it. So that customer experience maybe should be on the level that you need to persuade the person should be confident. But who will give the key for this confidence if every neighbors will turn around and tell you, look at her. So this is, I think that like, I think the new generation should be strong. You see, to like not only in the lifestyle, and for sure the lifestyle, if reflection of the outfit will be reflection of the lifestyle.
For sure, Maria. So, you are, like you said, you know, Indian women have been taught to fit in. Don't stand out. Don't stand out. Don't look different, but just fit in. Like, you know, that is, like you said, it's been a huge. There is a lot of change happening. I see when I travel a lot to the villages and the, you know, smaller towns of India, and I see women in their jeans and all of that. And I don't mean that being Western means you're more forward. I don't. That's not the truth. But having a comfort, having the choice, doing whatever, making having that choice to make your own decision. That's what I'm. That's what I'm. I would encourage them. You can do whatever you want, but you know, you must follow your heart and look at that. I just want to show you, I've missed it. I want to show you, I have a video that I would like to show you. It's only, yes, it's only for preview right now. This was done for a series. I just want to show you, this is the first one that's going to be out of the series. And it's a short video. I'll just show you that and then we can take some question and answers.
Yeah.
I will go for this and I have to, how do I do this? Can you see me? Can you see the screen by any chance?
Okay. Now we can see you.
Yeah, now, yes. Now can you see everybody?
Yes.
But it's still image.
Why do you want to ride to like Khatungla? You know, my mother in 2005, when I did that and started the first Himalayan Odyssey organized by the Royal Enfield motorcycle company, celebrated 10 years. And she's just like, this is so inconvenient. You're getting married in December and you want to do this in July. You'll be so black. You'll break a leg. It's inconvenient for other people's plans. Whatever it is that you want, you must do it at that time because tomorrow your wants will change. My name is Meghna Khanna and I'm the owner here at Levitate. My mother, she would
please volume a bit.
No, it's like you hear it from a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. You know, you're just too much. Your shine is too much. You know, you take up too much space. Your voice is too loud. You're just shining too bright. We did 12 years of schooling and 3 years of graduation, and then, you know, that's 15 years, and then 2 more years of classroom education when I did my MBA. And it was really, I learned nothing. My MBA was equal to an SDA. How am I going to make my life, my inputs, sustainable, have a differential advantage? How is it going to be different from what other people are doing? To be able to rise above the ground, that's what technically means, is to float in the air, to rise above the ground. Rajasthan was a real close part of my life. So Rajasthan, Gujarat, I had spent a lot of time growing up. And I felt like a lot of work that was happening there was being exported to the rest of the world without seeing the Indian market at all. So I really wanted to get that craft and that design in the jewelry, especially the old stuff, because soon it couldn't be there. So that's how Levitate started, was about filling a gap. And I wanted to fill it in with what was made in India, craft, jewelry, very vintage things. I still sell that kind of stuff that doesn't necessarily sell. It's like, oh my God, imagine like a handmade shoe, you know, hand stitched. Yeah, it's not something I've lived here in Bangalore for 17 years, and the motorcycle has been a large part of that. Because back then we didn't have a car or any of that, and it was whether rain or shine, you know, you were on the motorcycle. And it's a very, very big part of my everyday movement.
my primary thing is of freedom, kind of freedom from your reality and freedom from all thoughts as such. It's like almost a meditative way to move. It's a real treat. And how many other people you ride with, you end up being on your own. It's a very solo kind of experience. And all these years, I've been riding riding an Enfield since I was 15, but never really got around to riding solo till like about last year, my 40, when I turned 40. And I borrowed my friend's dad's 1963 Bullet, and I rode from Jaipur to Ajmer, and it was a beautiful, beautiful ride. That bike was flying. It's a 1963 model, and it was just amazing, amazing ride. And it's really amazing to ride alone. I am every woman. I'm a motorcyclist. I'm a traveler. I'm a mother. I am a daughter. I'm a wife. These are all the labels that we put on ourselves and put women around us. There's a little bit of me in everyone, and there's a little bit of everyone like me. So yeah, I am every woman.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was just made, it hasn't come out yet. I was just like, I just want to share something. Otherwise, I'll only be talking about myself. It's a bit like we're not used to that so much. So,
Okay.
thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was a wonderful journey. And let's take up the questions, Meghna. So Drishan asks us, how do you measure the success of retail innovation so far?
Good, very good question that is. So the thing is that, like I said, success, it is so personal. It could have been, you guys see me? Okay. So it could have been, it's so different to other people. For everybody, for other people, for my brand over 18 years, what have you really done? You could have had a store in every city of the country. You could have become,
exactly.
You could have had your own, you could have had funding. You could have scaled up. You could have been in every big mall of the country. You could have been in every city. That wasn't my idea of success. My idea of success was creating the handmade offering, keeping it as heartfelt and as exclusive in a way as possible. Because like I said, everybody doesn't feel that. Everybody doesn't want that. I have to tell you one point, that very important point that I forgot that to mention, is that in 18 years, out of which for mostly 10 years, we didn't have a signage outside. We didn't have a name board outside. We did not have a name board outside. How have we still sustained ourselves? How are we still alive? That is a very good question. So talking about retail innovation, I feel that it's not about paisa pheko, it's not just about how much money can you throw at this. It's really about what is your offering and how much you feel for it and what gap are you filling. There has to be a gap. You can't just say that if some X person is doing it, I will also do the same thing and I will do it cheaper. Let's do cheaper. There's a lot of times people say, let's just do it cheaper. It doesn't work, man. You don't want to do a price fight. You want to create something valuable. There has to be a value in your offering. And I think that is something that when people feel that, when there is a word of mouth, when people feel that value, they will automatically share, talk about it. I feel that. So it's personal. Success is very personal. What you want for your brand is very, very different. Yeah.
Meghna, I want to about what is I found as a customer. Firstly, what is different in your shop? Because let's say you have like sort of the products what we can find outside. It's possible, but you add some touch or the quality. You have like export quality.
Yes.
What we tell. So the quality is different than that originality of the design. We can't find it outside. It's like your small personal touch, what we can't get from commercial street. Yes. And the quality of the product wouldn't be the same.
Yes.
So, and I think that everybody is interested because you're on the field. I am like more in theory part. What do you think about, you have a different personal experience with the customer. So I think this is a good thing for the future of retail. Yeah. See that we can come to you, we can get advice from you. So what do you see as a future of Indian retail? And you are working with the craftsmen. So this is like you are buying the products, you are working with them, you supervise the quality, I guess. So after pandemic, after like we don't want, like I don't know how many people will refuse the big brands for wearing, so any like accessories or dressing. So what do you see for the future of Indian retail? Because I think everybody interested from your opinion, your personal opinion, not only for your shop, because you have like, I think you touched all the kinds of the levels, all the kind of crowd. So from students to the businessman, from like everybody is just, you know, it's so attractive that even if we are not buying anything, we just love to come and see.
Yes.
So what do you see for the future, for maybe like after pandemic, after like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, what will come from what we learned from what happened?
So Maria, thanks, man. That's a really loaded question, though I have to say. There's like many aspects to this. You know, the thing is that I never claim to be, you know, like creating everything in my shop. The idea that, like you said, it's putting it together. Mine is more resourceful. I put it together, and that's what the offering in its completeness is, something that you might not find in, you know, anywhere else. And like you said, the quality, of course, and the last finishing touches. When we talk about the craftsman, this is like a really, this is many aspects to this you know, point. The craftsmen that we have been working with, and a lot of the times the craftspeople that I have worked with, because I'm more involved in the vintage aspect of things, they are very vintage themselves. So this pandemic, the demonetization, the many things, there have been many blows to people, like slowly, you know, the whole the GST, the not understanding of the financial implications of this. And so I feel that they are quite affected by this, and I don't know how many of them are going to be able to come out of it. The next thing is that how we can go about the future of retail. Let's say there are two ways to do this. Okay, I feel that one aspect, the people who are already into, say, organic or like more sustainable, have now created, there will be a rise in that number, hopefully. Like something about, let's not buy 10 things a year. Let's just buy 1 or 2, but let it be handmade. Let it be something special. Let me be involved in it. Let me see how I can bring back a certain craft. Let there be more like an involvement in it, not just that.
So
hey,
make a responsible choice.
Yes. So, and the second aspect of it also, unfortunately, is that humans have a very short memory. You know, so if you were to say that some brands might die and, you know, and they come back next year, and then it's just, people just forget. People just forget. Like, you have a disposable income, people who have been working. So even who have been working online, who have been working today, the work from home environment has been so stressful that retail therapy still might be the way out for a lot of people who are working on a laptop. And the companies, they recognize that, and they're advertising to that clientele to say that, hey man, you've been working all this time, why don't you buy something? I am on the other hand, in the future, like we have more than we'll ever need, more than we'll ever use. We are so blessed in that way, that do we really need to buy more? Can it not be senseless? Yes, you must encourage. On the other hand, you must encourage artisans. There must be something that you feel, this is handmade, this is a handmade product, this has taken the man or woman 6 months to make. How much would you pay somebody for that kind of labor or that kind of an involvement? You know, this is where it should go. I personally, I feel that this is where it should go, but with a very growing like middle class also, and also like a working workforce, the younger people, the workforce. I think with the disposable income, I don't know how many people are going to be thinking about these you know, these aspects. And I think that by next year, people have a small, like very short memory and forget about all this. I don't know. I hope it's not the case, but I feel.
Okay, Meghna.
I hope that answers all your questions, Maria.
Okay, so the next question that we have is, so there must be instances where a customer leaves the store without buying anything, even if their products are good quality. So how do you motivate them to either buy or at least make them?
Was a lot, you know, Shweta, thank you for that. And not like a lot. What I mean is that sometimes people are shocked.
Percentage, yeah.
They're in shock. They don't know what to expect. They haven't seen you outside, and they just walk into the space and they're in shock. So they take that time. Sometimes people come in, they walk around, they spend half an hour, 45 minutes. It's a 200 square feet space.
Yeah.
But we have things from the ceiling to the floor. You might have seen that in the video. There's a lot of things, and it takes people like sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes they'll go and come back. But yes, sometimes they don't buy, and there's a reason for that. They're in shock. They cannot necessarily take in everything. And so a lot of times that happens, but they'll come back, and they'll come back with a friend, and then they'll be the person showing the store. And for us, that's very nice because, like I said, we don't push anything. I have girls who are taught to welcome them like you would welcome somebody into your home. How would you like to do that? How are you, ma'am? I hope you're having a good day. If you need any help, let me know. But I am not in your face. Push this. Can I show you? What do you want? None of that. That doesn't happen in our space.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, you show everything. This is how this works. This is what this is. This, because sometimes people don't know what it is, and they don't want to ask. Also, they don't want to ask. They're not as forthcoming. So my team has been trained to communicate everything. If there's any help, please, we are happy to help you. Welcome to our space. This is where we are. So, and they usually come back. Sometimes, rarely it happens that it is such a shock for that person, and that person is so sober or so kind of, cannot do this kind of space, and that we're fine.
The processing takes place later, and then they revisit.
And Bangalore market has been like that. We cannot say that over the years that, say a Saturday and Sunday is bajawing business, and, sometimes it's very dull. And sometimes a Tuesday we have bumper business. So you cannot say that about the business for us. It's just Bangalore as a market is a very different kind of a market as opposed to a Bombay or a Delhi where there's consistent behavior patterns, I feel. So, yeah.
So where did you get do you create this collection or you just outsource them?
No, so we have been working, there are things that we do, and now we work with almost like 30 to 40 designers, young designers who sell with us. Because initially it was everything, we did everything. And then it became like this, that, there's a lot of people who quit their jobs and had the similar kind of ideas, that we'll quit our job and start, production. And, whether they're making handmade diaries, or they're making handmade jewelry, or they're making jewelry out of PET bottle caps, or like there's many different, things that people started doing, very interesting things. And I'm like, I am not a competitive person. I started this because I saw a real gap in the market, and I wanted to showcase something that was made in India. So please, like, I have made my platform very much available to all young people who do something different, It's a non-traditional. We are not a traditional. We are an anti-bling. We don't believe in shiny things, and we try to keep it as understated and earthy as possible. So automatically that kind of throws out a lot of people who might not find it interesting. So there is an automatic filtration, which is fine.
Okay, so how did you arrange your initial investment when you started?
Yes, can I share that with you? Like, I had quit my job and I did not want to take money from my parents, but I did have some friends who were in business, and I had an angel investor and another friend who was working, and I started off with 70,000 rupees. And that was my initial investment, wherein I bought stock, I set up my shop, I made bamboo shelves, and there was only that much, and it started off with that. And I realized that one thing, there is one way you can do this. Either you have the time or you have the money in life. It's very rarely that you have both. You are very rich and very lucky if you have both the things. You have money as well as time at the same time. So at that time I had no money, but I had the time and the inclination. You have the drive. There's no doubt. There was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to do this. There was no doubt. So you have to be that. You have to have nothing to lose, and you have to be like beyond a doubt. There cannot be any doubt. So that was what started me off.
Okay, so due to this pandemic,
Yes.
how will the retail sector affect?
It's very interesting, because everything for us also as well, we have had a physical store, and we have been touch and feel for so long, where there is interaction has been very important, the interaction. But retail had already changed to, like, say, online, had already changed to mall business, like going to a mall, had already become not so personal as opposed to what we do, as opposed to our product. It's so touch and feel, and it's so personal. But at the same time, what happened was that that with the I think that everything is going to be definitely online, but how do you cut that noise? How do you cut the clutter? Even online, there is so much noise that still, how do you keep it personal? How do you keep it, how do you keep it working? So that is very important. I think that the move is definitely going to be online. I think that there has to be a real filter on what comes out. I think there has to be a real check on products that are useful and I think that's a good time to rethink. I don't think anything is going to change in the next few months. I think till the end of the year, it's a write-off. I think if we do it next year, it's going to be something that will, bring out something interesting. Hopefully, there'll be something interesting in the market.
See, I think that your pieces, what you sell, it's like art pieces, the
Yes.
artisanal art pieces.
Yes.
And seeing the art market, the postcards or prints you can get online. But when you want something authentic, you need to come, see, touch, try. So
Yes.
this part will always stay, especially with your niche.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes, you're so right, Maria. That is the one problem that we face, and that is why we have experienced everything. We were like in a small shop, and then we were like, maybe we should go to a mall, and we had a setup in a mall as well, and then maybe we should be online. But the thing is that at the end of the day, what we do is so finely curated and it's so heartfelt that you really need to have that connect. To meet somebody or to make it personal. So that would again be the same thing for us if we take it online, and that will be a new learning for us. We are online, but we are like how the story has to be, how the story is shared. And, for me personally and for my brand, that it becomes still a personal, how do we take that personal touch online? That will be a challenge for us, and that will be a good learning experience. But that would be key for me and my brand.
Because then the online is having the limitations. You see, also people can't shop all the time online because it's so competitive, and then it won't be so personal.
That's exactly where the challenge comes in. But how do you make a story that resonates with people? Firstly, I think that story is very important. Your offering is secondly very important. Your epic experience comes in. So really about, like, let's say videos like this has been such a learning for me. I have to admit, I was very nervous, my first one ever. Thanks Maria and Shweta for just being there.
Because I thought, like, for people, it's now everybody is asking the questions, and you're on the field, you know what's going on, and you are totally in sustainability, and also I think Shweta, we have a lot of the young designers now, no? With us students,
lot of
so
them,
they
lot of them.
how to proceed. So because your example, I think you can give them the idea, and then they can start. Also, it's not that they will be competitive to you, but they should learn about another retail than that mall shop or like common things. They should know that it exists.
I think it's a great time, Maria, that to have and to learn from other people's experiences, to really imbibe from the stories that they have heard, like who did something different. This is a great time. And to actually come out with something that fills a gap again, like, that there has to be something that other people have not seen yet. Or no, you can't be better than them. Original ideas may not exist so much today, but how do you present it? How do you do something with it? It's a great learning time. Instead of just, I think till now people were just, doing some surface learning, and then just, this is what everybody is doing, so I will also do that. I think it's a great time to give yourself 6 months, really imbibe from other people's experiences, dive into the internet, learn what other people did when, like, whether it was Alexander McQueen or whatever, different designers, what did they do at different times? What's Chanel's story? Like, whatever, XYZ brands, like, just to learn from their experience. They had it difficult. They didn't have it so easy that we have had a retail boom thanks to the, social media and everything, that thanks to this, this international, this is a very new phenomenon. So I think it's a good step in a way to actually check what you really want to put out there, your authentic product, your authentic self. This is the time to take that, to learn, really.
No, I think that shift will be positive. Maybe not on the short term, but on the long term, it will be positive. Also, what people learned from pandemic, that the family and people are the most important. Finally,
Yes.
it's not how much you put in the 22 karat gold. No.
True.
So people are more important. Family is more important. That personal experience is more important. So it should reflect on the retail.
Exactly.
So, but when it will happen, it should.
Local, buy local,
Local.
support small businesses.
Right.
It's so like we have become so spoiled in a way that we can actually that stay at home or lock down every year at home. We are very privileged to be able to do that you have a home and that you can be locked down in it. There are many people who don't have that. Let's talk about like India, as like with the migrant travel, like laborers trying to reach home, that people who live with no roof over their heads. There is so much. Like if I was to go into that, there is so much. Let's not, like, of course we are in a very consumable economy and a very materialistic world and everything, all of that, but let's have some. How are we going to help those people? Why don't you create something that helps them? Why don't you make them products like that? You do a social story, you do a social product that helps people. You think that people are not going to talk about it? If you fill that gap, that you think that people are not going to talk about it? Oh yes, they will. You give me something different and your product will sell. So even in this lockdown time, you make something that people haven't seen before, or you make a story that really works, a product and an epic experience to share. People will share that. So if you're going to be out of the 100 people, if you're the 99 doing the same thing, you won't get that much. And you shouldn't also. You are designers. You have a job to do. You have to be different. People expect you to be weird. People expect you to, you can get away with a lot of creativity, so you should it's your duty to be different and to create something. Don't follow the bandwagon. Don't just to follow whatever everybody else is saying. Use your own brains and create something. It's your job.
What I like also from your story, that seeing lots of Indians youngsters traveling outside, I don't know, they are not very traditional, they try to copy. Just why you're doing it? Just, I don't know, use what you used to wear and you will be the fashion model. So that it doesn't mean like you need to go in Kanchipuram sari outside of India, not at all. But something, one touch, like what you keep your home with you, the jhumkas or something.
Yes, I feel like that is a lot of. There is a lot happening there. There is a change, like I said. If you are already on this, the sustainable side of things, where you want to encourage people, there is already that happening. And I see that. I feel that. If young people see the older people doing something for the community or having that part or that aspect of building sustainability, maybe hopefully that they will also learn that. It's been it's been different, because if you talk about one generation to the next, this generation that is studying right now and the previous one, where we have seen our parents struggle, where we have not gotten everything that we wanted. Today, if you are studying on your parents have funded this education for you, then you have a certain duty to also follow through and do something worthwhile with it, but it also is like that person also has to be bored. We also have to be bored. We also have to go into our space of like coming back and exploring, to learn from other people. We have to drop the ego. There are many things. And also like there's been a huge amount of instant gratification, which we all know, right? So, I mean, having that, reducing that might help people also, I feel. Definitely for learning.
About the Bangalore retail, that's what I always wanted to ask. I think that for everyone, it's interesting. See, when the Bangaloreans are coming to Pondicherry or Chennai, I can like scan them immediately. Those people from Bangalore, like I don't know how. Yeah. So how they're different in buying the thing, because you experience in different cities. Yeah. I like buy their Bangalore. It's like a brand, they're more educated. They have they work, basically the youngsters, and they're not very kitschy in their styling. So what is, because we talk about Bangalore retail, how Bangaloreans are different?
So it is a niche. Like if I would say that, it's a hugely technical tech crowd. You have the IT business and the tech crowd, and there's a lot of that. So I would say 90%. But like I said, my brand has been so niche that you find that niche. So when I say that I am only catering to 10% of the population, let's say I'm only catering to 10% of Bangalore. How I show up in that 10%. I have to make sure that my entire 10% gets visibility. Be able to spot my business. I should reach that entire 10%. So if it's only 5%, you just make sure, you have to make sure that that entire 5% gets your visibility or gets to know about your brand. You have to know your client. You have to know who is your target audience. If you're selling something to 18-year-olds, you have to know where the 18-year-olds are, where they're hanging out, what they like, and making sure that is, you are targeting them, making sure that it's relevant to them. Imagine us like at 40 and saying that, okay, I'm going to sell something to an 18-year-old. I better have a great team of 18-year-olds telling me, Meghna, this is how they think and this is what they want. So, making sure that you have a good team, doing a lot of research. I think this is the time to do a lot of research, and don't underestimate that. I have done that for 1 year of research, and today I'm going back to it. If I want to do another product, if I want to launch something else, which I again feel is like after a long time, I felt that's a subject for another webinar, okay, Shweta, but I'm looking at doing another product, which again fills a gap, because I feel like a lot of Western brands are in the country. Similarly to all the denim brands, all the multi-brand outlets, there are a lot of things in the Indian market. And how do you differentiate yourself, right? What is that? How do you differentiate yourself is key. This is the time for research. This is the time to know what one brand is doing. What does one brand represent? How do you differentiate one from the other? What is it about Levi's, that people like? Or what is it about some other brand that people relate to? This is the time to do the research. Ask your friends. If you have 20-year-old client base, ask your friends, do your research. This is the time for that, I feel.
Who is your role model, Meghna?
Oh, good one. Oh, I haven't thought of that.
Probably you are just inspiring everyone else.
Oh, no, we can't. I don't know. I haven't thought of that. Like, oh.
No, I read the article when I think you shared about your mom. Your
Yes.
mom is not a role model.
My mom, that's actually today, you're right. Thank you, Maria. But I would say that, yes, because today I have started to appreciate. It took me a long time to, really, my father was my hero and my dad's no more. But my mom has been so consistently amazing, learning how to paint in her 60s, learning how to swim when she's 67. She's been traveling the world solo. Like she writes, she reads, she's paints, she knits, she cooks, she teaches, she does everything. And I felt like, oh my God, I have not learned anything. But it's such an inspiration. You're right. My mother is a huge, huge part of my, part of how I am and what I'm hoping to learn from her. Still a long way to go to learn.
Okay, any plans to give franchise to people in other cities? It's asked by an anonymous attendee.
Please, please be my guest, please. I would love that. See, I can't do it. The thing is, the reason when we spoke about scaling up and doing, 10 cities, having a store there, I am not that, because I have a family and I am based in Bangalore, and I didn't want to do that where I missed out on my children's growing up. This was an important decision for me. But if you are driven that way, because I have the source, I am the source. I can say that. Yeah. I am the source. If you want to do something, I have it. I can help you with that. For sure, I can be that person. But I cannot be selling. I'm not a seller. Like I said, it's not about pushing. We just stand there and say, like, boss, look at me. you want to, we can help you look and feel better. This is where I come in to, do that. But if you are willing to take the brand forward, I would be so happy.
Okay, so what is your message for budding fashion entrepreneurs, young ones?
Believe in yourself, beyond a doubt. and know that you're on, find your right path. Don't emulate others. It's okay to learn from their experiences, but know and find your personal style, your authentic self. That is the most important. You have to believe without a doubt everywhere, because we are plagued by self-doubt. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I enough? Am I doing enough? Am I all of that? But at the same time, you have to have, no doubt, you have to do your research, you have to fill your gap. And remember, like what I did, I mean, I feel like I've lived a lifetime with that mantra of like in a sustainable differential advantage. How do you do that? How do you keep yourself different? How do you do that? Because that, I think, will be key. And then finding that personal style and helping others. So again, when you're helping, like if you're doing styling for somebody else and you say Shweta has a certain style, Maria has a certain style, I am a certain style, but I cannot impose my style on the two of you or anybody else. I must find their style. So as a job that you have is to produce an option B and a C. Everybody believes they have a certain style. I'm not going to go around telling people that, hey man, you need a makeover. It's very difficult to do that. But at the same time, nothing is wrong. How you're dressing is fine. I am just here to say that you have been choosing, you have had a go-to option A. I am here to show you. You can also do B and C. There's nothing wrong with how you're dressing. This is you. I can show you a B and C. So have that open, because sometimes in your 20s, we are also very, full of ourselves. Also, we have an ego. Like we have that, we know what we are about. So keep that, pull it down a notch. Humble is key also. Let your client also bloom, help them bloom. So listen deeply to what other people are saying, I guess.
True. Okay, so when an entrepreneur like you suddenly have a competition with brands with similar products, how do you cope up with that?
So good question, because at the same, like I said, competition was not, I quit a corporate life because I don't want to be in the rat race, and this competitiveness is not a key in my personality traits. But yes, we have had a lot of and it's great. I always thought it was great. The more the merrier, I always wanted to be like, because my store is in Indiranagar. Let's make a list of all the Indiranagar stores, because my competition became with the brick and mortar, the big brands. Let's not send, if people are coming to Bangalore and they're like, where should we go? We have 3 days in Bangalore. What should we visit? Where are the small brands? Where are the hidden secret shops? Levitate is called Bangalore's best kept secret shop. It's called that. We have gone with that. Why? Because it is what it is. That if I want to just keep it to myself, people ask me in Indiranagar, is there any other place to go to? Oh, madam, I don't know. You go see wherever. No. Yes, you're in Indiranagar. How much time do you have? Go here, go there, check out this shop. These are my fellow entrepreneurs. So I am not that person. I will be like, please go. They do lovely sarees. They do lovely food. Go check it out. So I am that person. But I don't know about others. But I feel like for me, it's small brands versus just homogeneous. Everything is homogeneous. Everything is glass. Everything is chrome. Everything is like one style. That I'm against that my competition is with that, if at all. But I also believe if some people prefer that, please go ahead.
Okay, so we have a question from Soman. He says, have you worked with Jamdani designs, handcrafted?
Jamdani, like the Jamdani.
You should visit your store, probably.
Yes, you should visit the store. That's a great, we're inside Bob's Bar on 100 Feet Road. Yeah, so, but I don't know how that's going to go out. So, yeah.
So, Meghna, it was a wonderful session.
Thank you so much, Shweta.
And I would, before I end up, I would like to mention some of the things which I really liked while you were talking. You mentioned either you have to be first or best or different. This is something which was really, really nice and influencing, I think. And then, in times of difficulties, you did not have money to get influencers, so you became your own influencer. Really inspiring again. And one more thing, the last one, customer delight is more important than satisfaction. It's really, really well said and very well taken. I think you pulled it through really nicely, Meghna. I think our viewers had a wonderful, a delightful session rather than satisfied session. I would put it this way. Thank you so much, Meghna. And thank you so much for adding your inputs. Wonderful to have both of you.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for accepting us.
Thank you.
Forever grateful.
Thank you
So,
so much.
Meghna, I hope we keep associating in future.
Yes, please, I would love to.
Thanks, Maria, for this wonderful contact that you gave us.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. So have a good day for all.
Yeah, good day to all of you. Thanks for sparing time, Meghna. Hope we connect soon again. And thank you all the attendees for joining us today. Please join our tomorrow's webinar session also. So see you all soon. Thank you, Meghna. Thank you, Maria.